Now, for more on all of this, we are very pleased to be joined by Dan Stein. Dan is the president of FAIR, the Federation for American Immigration Reform, and he joins us tonight via Skype from Washington. Also via Skype from the Bayou State of Louisiana, the co-chair of the Donald Trump campaign in that state, Jeff Crouere. Jeff's also the host of the Ringside Politics radio and TV show, and he is the author of the book, America's Last Chance. So, we heard some tough talk from Mr. Trump, but earlier today, he was on Laura Ingram's radio show, and once again, the word softening came up. Take a listen.
Oh, there's softening. Look, we do it in a very humane way, and we're going to see with the people that are in the country. Obviously, I want to get the gang members out, the drug peddlers out. I want to get the drug dealers out. We get a lot of people in this country that you can't have, and those people will get out. And then we're going to make a decision at a later date once everything is stabilized. I think you're going to see there's really quite a bit of softening.
Dan, first to you, what do you make of the last comment? Quite a bit of softening, and really his overall comment as compared to what he said yesterday in Mexico City and last night in Phoenix.
Well, JD, you know, we've been talking about immigration for years, and the speech that Donald Trump made in Phoenix last night was historic because of its breadth and sweep. And he touched on really a million different important areas: on sanctuary cities, criminal aliens, on border security, on the wall, on getting Mexico to pay for it. He talked about limiting legal immigration to bring it back to traditional levels and eliminating chain migration. You know, he talked about increasing the skills composition. He talked about future flow and how to control that. The only area where there seems to be any vacillation, and I don't know how helpful it is to really drill down on that specifically, is the reality that the process of removing aliens in the U.S. illegally is cumbersome, in part because both Barack Obama and other administrations have agreed to procedural process that means that it takes a long time to get an alien out of the country. Now, I think Donald Trump's idea is if you can get the alien to leave the country voluntarily as a condition of ever coming back in legally, when the alien leaves the country, the U.S. government gets a great procedural advantage by virtue of the alien having left U.S. jurisdiction. But he realizes that as a practical matter, if you try to round up and remove all illegal immigrants or aliens in 30, 40, 80 days or whatever, you have to have resources. You have to have immigration judges, immigration courts.
And so it's obvious, as you said, it would be cumbersome, Dan. Now, Jeff, let me turn to you. Miranda mentioned it in her report, a new Fox poll asking voters how Trump's reported softer stance on immigration would affect their decision in November. 48% saying they'd be more likely to vote for Trump, 15% less likely. Jeff, you've been around Louisiana politics for a long time, and of course in national races, the notion is in the Republican Party, run right for the nomination and moderate a bit for the general. Is this just textbook strategy?
I think you're making a very good point, JD. I think we're only seeing a little bit of softening, not very much. The media is sort of blowing it out of proportion. I thought the speech last night was pretty strong and pretty consistent with what he's been saying all these months. But we did see a little bit of softening on those that are here that are not committing additional crimes, the deportation of up to 15 million, who knows, whatever the number is. That could be a very cumbersome process. And I think what he wants to do is get rid of the criminals, get that wall built, and there's no softening on that. And JD, that is number one on that 10-point list that he released last night. And I think that's very, very popular with the American people.
It is popular because everyone talks about border security, but in some sectors, the popularity is a bit suspect. Let's present the evidence concerning a Houston-based immigration attorney by the name of Jacob Monty. He was serving on Mr. Trump's Hispanic Advisory Council. He resigned earlier today, and let's listen to his reasoning for that.
We thought he heard us. He was taking notes. There was back and forth. And he comes out with this speech that was essentially reciting the talking points from the FAIR and Numbers USA and Heritage Foundation, which are anti-growth, anti-population think tanks that believe that we have too many people here. And it was very, very disappointing.
So Dan, he mentioned your group, FAIR specifically. What is your reaction to his comment?
Well, he's a smart guy to mention fair, but come on, JD. Donald Trump was talking about trying to ensure American workers get a fair shake in their own country, about ensuring there's wage growth, productivity growth, and with massive immigration, all Americans, including Hispanic American workers, have been hurt by this influx. He talked about, Trump did, about putting American interests first in the formulation of policy. These are incredibly powerful, important points, and Hispanic Americans, and certainly those who respect the rule of law and respect our borders, really need a political leader like Donald Trump to express those views. Because we've had all these years of these ethnic shakedown artists who claim to speak for the Hispanic community, who are really apologists for cheap labor and illegal immigration. And it's disappointing, particularly Aguilar, who says he's a Republican. Donald Trump is generating tremendous excitement in the Republican base on these issues. And people have been yearning for somebody to say, immigration is supposed to serve the American needs, not foreign governments, not foreign despots, not cheap labor interests on Wall Street, and certainly not ethnic lobbies that want to pack the polls with new ethnic voters who vote Democrat. So this guy's just out of touch. And if he's an immigration attorney, well,
there you go.
He must have expected Donald Trump to leave his principles at the door.
Right. Hey, 30 seconds to you, Jeff, for the last word. Since you're last, I guess this is all part of Mr. Trump's America First campaign.
And you know what, JD? That is popular. That is what the American people want. I think they're tired of the United States being so globalist, putting other countries first, not putting the American worker first. We have home ownership that is at a 51-year low. The American dream is slipping away. Wages aren't going up. So we need a president that's going to put the American worker first. I heard that last night in the speech. That is popular, JD. It's catching fire. Look at those polls. He's going to be leading pretty soon in all of the polls.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
Labor Day's coming up. We'll see what they look like next week. Jeff Crouere from Louisiana, Dan Stein from Washington, thanks to you both. Now, coming up next, we will hear from a veteran who won a Republican primary for Congress in Florida. He's Brian Mast, and he's here to speak with us next.